Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Ashley Marshall and I'm here to do a reading for the elements for the full moon in Virgo. As the sun is in Pisces and the full moon is occurring in Virgo, this full moon may really be about shedding, cleansing, cleaning, organizing things in order to accompany this ending. Pisces rules endings, rules the 12th house, which rules endings, and full moons are all about wrapping up, finishing things, endings. So I feel like as a collective, we're being called to really look at our daily routines, look at our organization, look at our homes, our spaces, and bring any emptying out, cleaning out to those areas of life in order to accompany this Pisces full moon, Virgo full moon with sun in Pisces, really energy of endings and again wrapping up, finishing things, closing out, shedding. Of course, it's going to occur in a different house for everybody, depending on their rising sign. So I will let you know in the group of elements what house this full moon will occur for you by rising. So we're going to start with the earth elements, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. For Virgo risings, this full moon will occur in your first house of self-image, appearance, ego, characteristic, personality traits. Taurus, this full moon in Virgo will occur for you in your fifth house of personal creativity, children, joys, recreation, fun. And Capricorn, this full moon in Virgo will occur for you, Capricorn risings, in your ninth house of mental exploration, long distance travel, higher learning, philosophy. So let's get into the cards and see what the earth elements, Virgo, Taurus, and Cap risings. You can also watch for sun and moon, what this full moon in Virgo has in store for you. So your tarot card is King of Air, brilliant, impartial, professional, diplomatic. Speak your mind with confidence, seek out professional advice, balance mental and emotional considerations. So for the earth signs, this full moon in Virgo is occurring in first house, fifth house, and ninth house, which are all fire signs, right? Aries ruled, Leo ruled, and Sagittarius ruled. So this full moon in Virgo may see you taking some action to first house, fifth house, and ninth house areas of your life. So Virgo, you might be taking action and putting a voice to some personal change, some ego work, some evolvement on a personal level that you're going through. But of course, the first house is where the first house rules also how other people see us, how we express and show ourselves to others. So it's on a personal level that you may be seeing this change, Virgo risings, but it's something that the world will see, right? So I really feel with this King of Air, you're being called to use your voice, to step out. First house is all about self and showing yourself, so stepping out with confidence. The fifth house, since, for Taurus risings, fifth house where this Virgo full moon is occurring for you is all about personal creativity. So this full moon may really see you stepping into your own personal creative expression, tapping into that. And I think with this King of Air Taurus rising, you're really being called on using your voice to do so. Capricorn rising may see you with this full moon in Virgo, may see you publishing something, may see you using your voice, and your voice, that message may stretch and expand overseas, right? Because ninth house is long distance travel, and if you're not traveling, it may be publishing something that gets seen by people, read, and reaches people in other countries, right? So that's a possibility, right? Or maybe Capricorn rising, it's about expressing a new philosophy that you have gained. But really, you earth signs in the fire houses, I feel, are usually really being called with this King of Air to use your voice to take action on something. So Virgo, in a personal, area of your life, changes, expressing who you are and this new self that you may be stepping into. Okay? Cleansing, clearing, cleaning, organizing, ending, wrapping up any projects, or even like getting things off of your website, whatever, is what we're all being really called to. But it's gonna help you be able to gain and speak your mind. When we can clear the clutter, we have more access, right, to those things. You may be called on getting a mentor. So Virgo, maybe just like a life coach. Taurus, maybe a mentorship in art. Capricorn, any with the higher learning here, maybe a philosophical mentor, and a mentor that will help you achieve ninth house things, publishing, international relations, law. So that is a possibility here. Balance, mental and emotional considerations, which is really what the air signs are all about. When we have a lot of heavy air energy, sometimes we can forget about the emotional part of something and we base everything really mental. So watching out for that. And with the King of Air here for Virgo risings, I do see possible ego work, stepping into that with this full moon in Virgo. Anything else for Taurus and Cap? Also, Taurus, this is your 5th house of children. So, speaking your mind with confidence could see you maybe expressing how you feel, your child needs to be raised. It could be something like that. And then also Capricorn rising, it could be speaking your mind, putting a voice to these new philosophical truths that you have and are experiencing. Okay, so earth elements, you also got Gemini, which is really great because the suit of air in the tarot, which is swords in the tarot, but my angel deck is air, which kind of goes with the astrological signs, represents Gemini. So really further encouragement on spreading a message. Virgo rising's a message about who you are and who this new self is. It could come through your, vocal expression. It could also come through your appearance, since this is 1st house. Taurus, communicating your creative expression, right? So it may be something that you are expressing through words, through a podcast, okay, through Gemini, mercurial things. And Capricorn, again, using the written word, using, similar to Taurus, podcasts or any Gemini or mercurial things to get your point across. Virgo, Taurus, and I think especially Capricorn may see themselves, Capricorn risings, studying something new, learning something new, taking a class or a course. I see that being possible. Taurus risings, you might be spending time with maybe if it isn't your own kids, or you're not talking or thinking about having kids, or that conversation is coming up. Maybe this full moon in Virgo has you spending time with nieces, nephews, cousins, goddaughters, godsons, right? Something like that with the Gemini Mercury here. I'm also hearing and seeing something. No, I don't think that that's meant for this. That was kind of coming in weirdly. Anything else that I want to say about Gemini for the Earth suits on this Virgo full moon. Yeah, so this full moon may have you it may see you like having to adapt to a new situation or new circumstances, which Gemini is really good at, okay? May see you, Virgo, Taurus, and Cap risings, networking. Symbols, feathers, herbs, and birds may play a role. You may be getting messages from feathers, from birds, working with herbs on or around the Virgo full moon, maybe doing some sort of ritual with herbs if you feel called to do that. Yeah. Let's move on to the animal guide. So you received the otter. So the otter really brings like a playful energy, okay, which I really like for you, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn risings. This full moon in Virgo may be really playful for you, may remind you to bring playfulness into everything that you do, to remember to keep things light and joyful, right? Let me see if anything else is coming through for the otter. Yeah, so the otter also brings with it possibility of celebration. So for Taurus rising, this could be something celebratory with children. Capricorn, this could be something celebratory having to do with publishing or any work or moves overseas. And Virgo, I really see, personal accomplishments, right? Celebrating personal milestones, or maybe even celebrating a change to your appearance, or celebrating with a change to your appearance, since we, that rules first house things. Celebrating this ego transformation that you are experiencing this Virgo full moon. All right, so I feel that is not quite it. We have more cards. I feel that is it for the moment for those cards. Okay, so the message that came through from the ancestors, wow, storyteller, imagination. So really going back to the King of Air and to Gemini, which really speaks to sharing a message, spreading a message, speaking your truth on Virgo first house things, Taurus rising, fifth house things, Capricorn rising, ninth house things. You may really feel like you're at the point where you have something to share, a story to tell, and you do. And this really is a validation that you do have a story that people want to hear. You have your own unique life experiences that the world really can learn from and may really need to know about. Even if you don't feel like telling it now, just getting it down on paper or recording it to have for later. Taurus rising, this might be sharing truths, sharing healing things with the children in your life. Virgo, this risings, it may be about memoir, maybe a time for memoir writing, or at least getting into journaling about your life, daily journal, daily diary. And Capricorn's risings, you may really feel called. Ooh, I got chills because I know a Capricorn rising who is writing a memoir right now. You may really feel called to dive back into that memoir writing, and or may feel inspired to begin. Again, you could be doing this through a podcast, or just sharing more on social media, or even just reaching out to a stranger or a loved one and telling your story, right? It doesn't have to be in this big, huge way, I guess. Dependent on everybody's levels. But really with the Gemini here and the King of Air, it feels like you Earth signs really have a burning message. It really feels like a time to step out into your own. Taurus risings with the creative, fifth house, that's personal creative expression, and compared to 11th house, like groupthink, it's really like individual expression. So Taurus risings might really see some exciting new things coming in that arena of life. I'm really excited for the Earth signs. Virgo, really, again, first house is all about self, so huge shifts and revelations possible for this full moon in Virgo around self and who you are, who you identify as, and who you identify yourself to be. There may be, I'm seeing like some of you standing and reciting poetry, or even reading parts of a memoir, a poem about your life, right? Again, going back to like really putting a voice to this story of who you are. You may feel really like called to do that with this full moon in Virgo, right? It's happening in Virgo, so really big for Virgo, sun, moon, and risings, and the earth signs, right? Ooh, just very excited. And then did I say Capricorn, using your voice and spreading a message that maybe you hope to get published one day, or maybe you just want to share nationally, like internationally. Okay, so you got 2 self-care cards. I think this is so great. You got journal and use your hands. So we were talking about, possibly starting like a daily journaling practice, diary practice, getting your message out. So if this reaches you and you're just like, oh, that feels like too much, just journaling your story to yourself. It doesn't have to be published. That may only resonate with some of you. I'm also hearing and seeing that working with your hands, if you can't get the words out, may be a great way for a lot of you, doing ceramics, doing the dishes, cooking, making art, whatever, gardening with your hands, may help that flow and release any blocks that you have around the story that you want to share and tell. Because maybe the story is there, maybe the desire is there, you're just having trouble with the follow through. So setting what you want to do aside is what I'm hearing, and getting into something else is usually like when the flow comes. Like me, if I have a writing block, usually it'll come in the shower, at the worst time when I'm wet and like don't have anywhere to write something. But that's just how it goes, right? That's how it goes, and that's how it flows. All right? So Earth signs, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm really excited for you for this full moon in Virgo for you. I think it's going to be lovely. Okay, let's just start with these 2. Air, elements. You got a lot of cards, and I just went with it. Okay, so Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius risings, this is for you. You can watch for Sun and Moon as well, but I will tell you that Gemini risings, this full moon in Virgo is going to occur for you in the 4th house of home, family, parents, ancestors. Sometimes it's the mother, sometimes it's the father, sometimes both. Also later life, and just what makes us feel cozy. Libra risings, this full moon will be in your 12th house of endings. right? Closure. Some people say it also rules like institutions and things like that because it's where we go to do our inner work sometimes. I also believe that it rules the womb space, dream state, past life, karma. But it doesn't have to be so heavy. Aquarius, this full moon in Virgo is going to be in the 8th house of your sex, death, and taxes, other people's resources, and money. Let's get into it. So you got 2 tarot cards. So you're the air element, but this full moon is happening in the water signs for you. So when full moons happen in the water signs, you know, these are the houses that rule our emotions, right? So release, Archangel Azrael, the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. So air elements, especially Libra, since this full moon is occurring in your 12th house of endings, I really do see that this full moon is going to bring a culmination. You know, may not be something big, maybe, but likely a culmination to area of life that this full moon is happening. So for Libras, you could be letting go of some past spiritual beliefs, or maybe you're just ending up some like inner child work or mother wound work. Maybe you feel called to do a past life regression and work through some past life karma. If you believe in that and you feel called to it. Gemini risings, I feel like this could also be a culmination or a desire to work through some inner child work. Some of you may be moving, thinking about moving, leaving childhood home, thinking about leaving home, thinking about bringing someone new into your home. Maybe someone new is coming in. Also, maybe an end of a phase with a parent, right? Maybe some of you are helping your parents move out of their home and into a care facility, something like that, energy of that. Maybe they're moving in with you. And Aquarius risings could see some ends to some shared contracts. Maybe you were dependent on someone for money, or they were dependent on you, and that is finally coming to a close. I see this as a positive, especially as it is coming with the Empress, Archangel Gabriel, lavish abundance, give birth to your dreams, nurture yourself and others. You know, and both with these wings spreading and flying. Yeah, I see, like, yes, there are some endings here, but it's really ushering in some goodness, some good things. And this really just is validation that if you are seeing things leave your life, that it's okay, right? Grieve it. Of course, take the time to grieve. Check my Instagram. I have some good grieving tips up this week. And yeah, you know, maybe having a ritual or a ceremony, even if it's simply just lighting a candle to signify the end of this phase in this transformation. I feel like the spiritual transformation is really for the Libra risings, but other air, you know, Gemini and Aquarius risings could be feeling this too. Okay. You know, the new that you are ushering in, the things that you're making space for by allowing other stuff to leave your life, will lead you to abundance, you know. The Empress is validation of that. I just love her hanging out and getting along with all these animals. That's speaking to me about, I think, this group, the air elements, in having the Virgo full moon in their water houses, it's like speaking to me of lots of support from the other side. Spiritual guidance, ancestors are speaking to you through animals, giving you support through this situation. Because I feel like some of you may be having a hard time with letting go, moving on, or even if it is like a positive spiritual transformation, it's, you know, there's still the death and a grieving of all the things that we used to believe, right? They used to ring true for us. Like, wow, I can't believe something that for so many years rang true for me, right? Maybe you're really into Buddhism and now you're, like seeing some truth of that has changed Buddhism for you, right? What else? I want to see if anything else is coming through here. No, I'm being told that there's plenty of cards, which there are in this pile, so I should move on. Okay. So, 6th house. This is really perfect for this full moon because this just emphasizes the release and the letting go. So, 6th house from the Arcana of our astrology deck is all about doing what the Virgo full moon is calling us to do, because Virgo rules the 6th house, right? And the 6th house is about daily rituals, routines, our daily work, our habits. So there's something about, checking in on those. Maybe that's the thing that needs to die off. Maybe the end of the phase or the situation is this, could also be a this 6th house rules daily work, our grind job. So the air signs Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius rising may be seeing an end to a current job, okay? But I'm also hearing shedding, releasing, cleansing, getting rid of the people, places, things, irritants, dust, clothes, paper, photos, all of the things that need to be gotten rid of, right? We're almost moving into spring, full moon in Virgo, Pisces sun. This is major cleansing, spring cleaning, get rid of energy, right? And it's all about ushering this in. So air signs really being called to do this, to review daily habits, rituals, and routines. Also, I'm hearing if you want to check your natal birth chart, people with a lot of planets in the 6th house tend to mentally ruminate, beat themselves up, obsess. They can become victims of obsessive thinking, obsessive patterns. So, and I'm hearing the later cards in this pile will give relief to that if that's you. So hang tight. But just checking to see if that's you, and bringing in what feels good and necessary to quell and to help with some of those things. Okay? So real release energy. And if you don't know what to do, just clean. Just clean. Little bits at a time, right? Okay, the other astrology arcana that came in, because so many cards came with this pile, is Lilith, right? Lilith represents feminine, female energy that can't really be contained. In Greek mythology, I may be getting this wrong. I think she was going to marry Joseph, but he realized that she was human and had, Adam and Eve. But that she wouldn't be subservient. Okay, so Lilith is all really about standing up for ourselves and continuing to push forward wherever it is in our chart, natal birth chart, which you can look up at other aspects on astro.com, because it's a comet. It really represents where we won't back down. Okay, so I think these really go together, because there may be some people in your life, or just general society and society's general way of thinking, that think that they have opinions about what you maybe want to cut out of your life and keep in your life. Okay, I'm also hearing check into your human design if you need help tapping into those things that really need to stay in your life and don't stay in your life, right? Really feeling into the body for this. And again, if you don't feel comfortable with that, or know, looking into human design, because that can be really helpful sometimes for discovering, how we feel into the body, how things feel resonant to us. Okay, so if you struggle with that, I highly recommend Human Design for that. So really not backing down when it comes, and also I'm hearing like not backing down when it comes to your daily routine. Okay, air signs can sometimes be like, oh, like be a little flighty, and up here I'm Gemini moon, so I can say that. So yeah, 6th house is Virgo rules, having some grounded action, taking some grounded action, and not allowing other people to get in the way of this new routine, this ritual, this schedule that you've created for yourself. Okay? So moving on to the animal card, you received the fish. So I feel like the fish has a lot to do with this 6th house energy, because the fish can come as a reminder to like, yes, it's great to be busy and to keep busy, but the fish is a reminder to be busy, you know, yes, but to have a goal in mind and to be focused. The fish can be like a little bit of like all over the place, right? When you see those fish, you know, they're all over the place. They don't really, they're just all over the place. And so again, you're really being called on honing in those, like a daily schedule, a daily ritual, a daily routine. And you know, if you need to keep it like open and light, fine, but just general, having a general set of things that you do so you're not lost all over the place in this current. Okay. I mean, and it's so Virgo, I feel like the fish is so Virgo, because Virgo really loves to be immersed in daily tasks and really busy. They're Mercury ruled, they're all over the place, right? But without a goal, without having something to set their sights on, they're just doing busy work. They're just, I keep saying all over the place, but that's really what it is. They are adaptable though, and you know, when they have something set in mind, they're good at achieving it because they love to move and to stay busy. But sometimes that can like turn into being like a roaming aimlessly without an end game in mind. So what is the end game here? What is your goal? What is your greater goal when it comes to Gemini risings, your home life, maybe inner child work, working on inherited trauma or ancestral work, because that's 4th house ruled. So where can you like hone in on a goal instead of flailing aimlessly? Because it's okay. It probably feels okay to do that for a little while until we're like, hey, I want to see some change. I want to see some growth here, right? It's kind of like getting all the information but never applying it, kind of a thing. And Libra risings, what is the end game with this inner work? With this time in solitude that this Virgo full moon may ignite for you. And Aquarius risings, what's the end game as far as it comes to your ties with other people's money? What you owe other people, what they owe you. What's the end game here? Okay. Also, 8th house is sex, death, and taxes, so it could have to do with a few different things. Inheritance, right? So instead of taking in all this knowledge, doing all these things, but not really applying it, okay, that's really what this fish energy is about. So the ancestral message that came through is of the inventor. So air signs, I love that bird coming through. Maybe it was just extra validation. And I'm also hearing like, overseeing your own inventions, not creating something and then letting it get away from you. I don't know, that just came through. But really, I'm hearing this, you are the creator and inventor of your own reality, okay? You know, the 12th house, Libra risings, that's where this Virgo full moon will be for you. 12th house is mental rumination and how we think about ourselves, talk to ourselves. We invent and create that reality too. And this full moon in Virgo may highlight that for you and be a reminder to you of that. And what can you bring in to make shifts to the subconscious, right? Maybe listening to positive affirmations as you go to sleep, right? You know, something like that. Aquarius risings, 8th house, you are the inventor and creator of your own shared resources. You are a part of this, okay? You are a part of this contract. I'm also hearing, like, if you are wanting to make, you know, step more into your sexuality with this being, the Virgo full moon being into the 8th house, that, you know, you invent that too. I'm hearing, like, it's okay to change. It's okay to change, to create the realities that you want and see for yourself and for your future. Okay? Air signs, that's what I'm really hearing and seeing for you all. And this self-care message that came through for you, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius rising. Burning bowl ritual. So this full moon in Virgo, you may feel really called to write out, I love that look, to let go, right? Remember, end of a phase, we're really letting go. So if you needed like a ritual, Virgo's all about rituals, to let go, maybe writing out everything you want to let go. Remember, visualizing and symbolically doing things has almost just as much power as doing the actual thing, right? So what's the actual thing? Ridding something from your life, right? An addiction, a bad habit. And if you need people to leave your life, it's okay to write them down and to burn it. It's not like energy that you want them to be gone forever, okay? And you can set an intention and say that with it. Y'all may be called to, you know, bust out the crystals, do some crystal work. But really the air signs in the water houses are being called to use fire, another element. Very interesting, right? So if you're feeling called to burn, shed, release all those things, yeah, go ahead and do it. Might be really great for you this full moon in Virgo air signs. Okay, moving over to the water signs. Cancer risings, this full moon in Virgo is going to occur for you in your 3rd house of cousins, siblings, local neighborhood, also your vehicle. Scorpio risings, this will be in your 11th house of big wishes, hopes, and dreams, larger community, social media stuff. Pisces, this full moon in Virgo, Pisces risings, will occur for you in the 7th house of committed partnership, marriages, and also business partnerships and contracts. So for the water signs, this full moon is occurring in the air houses, and these tend to be the relationship houses, right? So the Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces risings may see this full moon in Virgo more focused on their relationships, okay, depending on the house. So the tarot card that you got, and this pile also got very few cards, but I heard when it came through that that's what was meant to be. and I will likely just be going into detail a little longer on each of the cards because of it, because they have so much more to say, whereas the other piles needed more cards for more explanation. That's what I heard coming through. So water signs in air houses: Cancer rising, Scorpio rising, Pisces rising. You got 4 of water, missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. So the first thing that I heard when I saw this, because this can kind of look like a bummer card, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of a bummer. I'm a Cancer sun, so I'm, watching for this pile too. And what I heard was, yeah, not anything necessarily bad. You may just be feeling, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces risings might just be feeling antsy, feeling like they need to shake things up in 3rd, 11th, and 7th house things. So basically shake up their relationships with others, shake up their current surroundings, okay? So for Pisces, that's going to be maybe a shake up in your romantic relationship, business partnership. For Scorpio, in your, social media community, community at large, right? Maybe called to humanitarianism. And Cancer 3rd house, maybe to shake it up in the area of life, relationships with your cousins, with your siblings, also rules like aunts and uncles, if that applies. And this could just be you want to hang out with them and see them, and you spend time with them. It could be something like that. It could be something deeper, like really having issues with them and needing to go to therapy, or needing to take a break from them, right? Not have so much contact with them. And what I'm hearing is that some people in this pile, water signs, aren't seeing this as a possibility, because it's always been really black or white for them. Like, oh, I'm gonna have to, either they're in my life all the time and I have no boundaries, or I have to cut them out of my life and never see them again. And what I'm hearing, seeing for the water signs, is that's not true. Like, that's not true, shouting from afar, right? There is so much in between, and you can choose and change your mind. And there's so many possibilities of how to be in relationship with other people. This full moon in Virgo may see you being really non-traditional in these relationships. So Scorpio risings, you may do something really non-traditional with your social media profile, or non-traditional with the friends and relationships and the contacts that you've made, right, in the online world. Scorpio rising, Pisces risings, this could mean a totally different way of going about a business contract with somebody, right? Or it could mean like you decide to live half the time by yourself and then half the time with your husband or wife. And I'm also hearing like not letting what other people think play into these decisions, because it's all really personal, right? And really your one life to live is yours, okay? And allowing other people to have an opinion on your relationship and how you do love, how you do business, how you do social media is not really, like, it's only going to depress you more. This full moon in Virgo could just really emphasize that something is missing from these areas of your life. So Cancer, maybe you're missing connection between cousins, siblings, family. Maybe you're really, you don't have a car and you're really missing, I'm really personalizing this because I don't have a car, and I'm really missing my car because the 3rd house rules cars. You may see yourself taking a small trip. 3rd house rules small trips. Scorpio, you may really be missing connection with the world. You may be really missing being involved in, greater humanitarian efforts, and this may see you, going to get involved with that in some way. In Pisces, this, if you're single, this could have you really missing and wanting more commitment, more committed partnerships. So not just getting bored and needing freshness. If it's something that, you know, again, 3rd house, 11th house, 7th house, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces risings, depending on those relationships, may be the areas where you haven't had a lot of action and you're really yearning for that. So what's one small doable step to move closer in that direction? Pisces, maybe you can, you know, go on a date, join a dating website. Scorpio, maybe you can volunteer. Cancer, you know, maybe you can look, you know, ask anybody in your circle if they're selling a car, right? Or call your brother or sister back up, or write them a letter, right? Or if you don't have any, you know, do like ancestry.com and try to connect with family that way, right? I'm feeling like there's a yearning in this pile, either a boredom or a yearning, or maybe both, right? Sometimes it's both. Yeah, just know there are other ways to go about things, and I feel like I'm seeing like this narrow-mindedness, this black and white, and really, yeah, you're being called to see the possibilities, right? Research, do your research, I'm hearing too, because 3rd, 11th, and 7th house, air houses are more of like mental, you know, mentally stimulated houses. So doing your research on other possibilities. And what does that mean? I don't know, Pisces risings, maybe you look into polyamory. If you're like, oh my god, that does not resonate, then fine. But you know, just sometimes even just looking into that can be a reminder, like, oh, there are other ways of life, okay? And you might just need that fresh reminder. Okay. So you guys, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, and Rising, you got Hygia, the comet. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Hygia is the purifier. The symbols with it are healing herbs, brooms, snakes, lemons, and incense. So any of those that you've been seeing lately or feel called to, there's some validation for that here. Hygia is all about health, spiritual, physical, mental, and it's about healing, clearing, and cleaning, which is so perfect for Pisces, Sun, Virgo, Moon, full moon. As I said in the beginning of this video, this energy really wants us shedding, clearing, moving things out. Hygia has to do with our health, where it is in your natal birth chart. If you go on astro.com and do, I believe it's other aspects, and then enter Hygia, wherever Hygia is, tells us a little bit about our health, and maybe the way that we go about dealing with health issues, okay? So I'm really hearing like there's emphasis on and, you know, validation for and messages coming through around that, you know, Cancer risings when you're 3rd house, Scorpio risings when you're 11th house, and Pisces rising when you're 7th house, things are imbalanced. It can affect your health. And that's not like a warning or like, oh my god, but if you're dealing with health problems, do you have a strained relationship with a sibling? Are you going through a divorce? Do you feel loneliness and lack of connection from greater society, right? So checking into those things, checking to see your placement in your natal birth chart. Mine is really interesting. My Hygia is in the 11th house, and for a long time, and sometimes I still do, I was sharing my health and food journey, like specifically nutrition and food, on social media, right? And it also can indicate, Hygia in the 11th house, that I allow other people to influence my health, and that was for sure a thing. You know, Food Babe is after my dad died. Food Babe is a real influence to me, medical medium, those things. And, you know, it's person with my placement has to make sure not to pedestalize those people, right? And to take in other information, and also to tune into myself and what myself is calling for. But anyway, that is just a example so you could better understand how yeah, I'm also hearing with this lemons here, like drinking lots of lemon water for this full moon in Virgo may be really beneficial to the air element sign, water element signs. You are water signs after all, right? So yeah, just a reminder how our relationships can affect our health. And again, this isn't like a scare thing, like you need to talk to your siblings in order to fix this.